Begin at a threshold where a traveler stops pretending he is passing through. A trunk gets heavier, a lease gets longer, a local spice sneaks into a family recipe. Routes become neighborhoods when risk demands routes. Episode 1 Mapped Ships. Episode 2 Mapped Calendars. Episode 3 Mapped Furnaces. Episode 4 Mapped the Grammar of Markets. Episode 5 Maps people who made networks self-repairing by living at the joints. If that thesis fits your screen, like the video. Subscribe so our final arc tying language, genetics, and material culture arrives while the kettle is still warm. Trade begins with strangers and ends with cousins. The mechanism is boring and therefore powerful. Repeated exchange breeds predictable behavior. Predictability breeds credit. Credit breeds intermarriage. Intermarriage breeds bilingual children who collect rent in one language and joke in another. Those children become interpreters by default and insurance by design. When a caravan fails, a cousin extends terms. When a storm cancels a sailing, a neighbor on the quay knows a spare hold. Diasporas turn shocks into inconveniences. Where do they form? At choke points and sweet spots. Dilmun in the Gulf, port clusters on Egypt's Mediterranean fringe, Levanting corridors that funnel caravans east-west, river mouths where inland goods meet sea lanes, and inland market towns that sit at the safest river crossings. Add mines and quarries because ore attracts specialists who travel with their knowledge. Around each node you see mixed quarters, loanwords and street names, and cemeteries that hold more than one pottery tradition. Archaeology reads this like a ledger with human ink. Food tells on us. A port that receives Indus cotton will soon host flatbreads that prefer hot surfaces and short cook times. A Gulf outpost that hosts Mesopotamian date traders will fold syrup into new sweets. In a generation, the foreign dish becomes comfort food. Kitchens are laboratories for tolerance because hunger is pragmatic. So are workshops. A bead style from one valley mates with a drilling technique from another. The hybrid becomes the port's signature and then exports back, completing a loop where periphery teaches core. Religion adapts by layering. A traveler carries an amulet from home and adds a local charm rather than replacing it. A festival shifts date to match a host calendar's convenience. Shrines cluster near market gates where anxiety and gratitude are both high. Priests who can bless deals in 2 languages earn a surplus of offerings. None of this means identities blur into mush. It means identities learn choreography. The dance step is called coexistence, and it tracks profit too closely to fail. Genetic footprints support the story with caveats and care. Populations along busy corridors show signals of mixture over long spans, a slow marbling rather than waves. The pattern is not conquest's sudden spike. It is commerce's gradual braid. Family names in later texts echo places far away. Craft lineages brag about a founder from a famous city 2 rivers distant. This is not an appeal to blood as destiny. It is an observation that bodies carry roots the way artifacts do. Imperfectly, informatively, with noise and with truth. Law follows settlement. Host cities formalize foreigner status with taxes and protections. Some ports grant enclaves the right to use home weights under supervision. Others insist on local measures but allow foreign seals on internal packets. Courts appoint brokers as sworn translators whose oath is enforceable. These innovations stick even when politics turns. If institutional memory as cash flow speaks to you, tap like. Subscribe if you want the finale to turn this into a single model you can use to read any ancient map. Risk management explains why diaspora density correlates with network resilience. If tin fails in one corridor, kinship-based credit in a second corridor keeps foundries warm. If a flood silts a harbor, overland cousins guide the cargo inland and down another river. This looks like luck from the outside. It is designed from the inside. Redundancy again. The same principle ran through episodes 2 to 4. Civilization is a portfolio, not a bet. Now the human cost. Because romance hides labor. Settling is expensive in loneliness. Children grow up translating quarrels. Second-generation traders endure jokes about accents in both directions. Women carry the heaviest cultural loads, maintaining ritual continuity while adapting to new markets' demands. Yet precisely because it is hard, diaspora knowledge becomes valuable. Knowing 2 calendars, 2 cuisines, and 2 credit customs is a competitive edge. Ports reward edges. Objects that travel become identity anchors. A seal from home sits on a new counter. A weight standard migrates and becomes a bragging right. We still use the straight measure. Music migrates too. A drum pattern rides a caravan, meets a foreign scale, and births a port rhythm that spouses dance to on evenings when accounts finally balance. Tourists in the next century will call it traditional. They will be wrong about where tradition lives. It lives in practice, not origin. Close the loop with our earlier episodes. The web that linked Indus beads to Sumerian ledgers did not vanish when storms hit. It bent because people cushioned it. The calendar that set Egypt's stone schedules did not collapse when drift accumulated. Communities adjusted festivals and remeasured lines. Furnaces did not all go cold when one mine failed. Traders rerouted tin through cousins. Markets did not fall silent when interpreters argued. Children learned better phrases. Movement plus settlement equals memory. Memory equals resilience. Bridge to the finale. We have followed goods, rules, and bodies. The last step is synthesis, a model for reading ancient connections that does not require conspiracy or mythic founders. Networks arise from constraints. Constraints shape tools. Tools shape habits. Habits shape identities. Identities then stabilize networks. In the finale, we will assemble the pieces: trade math, sky math, heat math, and kinship math into a simple reading guide you can use from the Indus to the Andes. If you want that utility in your feed, like the video. If you want it on time, subscribe to Indus Lens. Consider your click a way station made of pixels. We end on a doorstep at dusk. A child answers in 2 languages without thinking. A mother counts change with a local weight and ties a packet with a home knot. A father hangs a seal where customers can see it and trust their tomorrow. The street smells of 3 kitchens. In the distance, a bell marks time for those who prefer stone to stars. The caravan has become a neighborhood. The route has become a map of belonging. That is how civilizations persist, not by walls alone, but by porches.